For whatever reason, he's gone now, but him leaving now gave an opportunity for a new, fresh, young player. Something that the people that you don't know the guy yet, but you will one day.
Good. Well,
is that better for the sport, or is keeping a Greenspan around that's a figurehead, a Michael Jordan of the industry?
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Tony and Mark, and today we are bringing you what's happening in paintball on PbNation, and
they're the source for paintball news.
They are the source for paintball news. That's where I go. That's where you guys should go. Check out PbNation.com, forums, news, all the latest and greatest, and what's currently happening in paintball.
So what's happening in paintball?
What's happening in paintball? On the front page, Mark, I see that the Newbies have come out with another documentary on the grind of paintball. You know, what it takes to become a top-tier team. 2016,
documentary or documentary?
Documentary.
Tell us how you say it, tomato, tomato,
elementary,
in the comments.
tomato.
All right, moving along.
So the new... This guy, he's making fun of me. So anyways, guys, they put out from last year, Chicago 2018. They originally did it and won a World Cup in 2016. The reason we're talking about this divisional team is because no matter what, they're getting the sport of paintball out there. They're filming it. Like I said, they're showing the grind. They're showing behind the scenes of what it's like in the pits. They're showing, you know, what it's just like to be a professional, a tournament paintball player per se. So shout out to the team Newbies. You guys should check it out and go.
It's a good documentary. We went through a lot of it earlier. I'll probably watch the whole thing later. It's about an hour long. I didn't see the one in 16 because I didn't care about paintball too much back then. But that was their D3 line. This is their D4 line. A little bit more beginner level, entry level paintball players. They didn't fare too well at the end of the day, but this was their road to Chicago.
Exactly.
But it's interesting to see the real deal. And the props to them for taking the time and the effort to put something like this together, because it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of work to think about and plan. And I don't know if they paid anybody for extra footage. I saw Spantastic's name was attached to some of the extra footage. I'm sure they had their own guy. Anytime you guys can do something like that, it's definitely noteworthy. Go to check out my YouTube channel group and Facebook, where Tony and I do little quick clips and watch your guys' videos, because we know what it takes to make the stuff, and to make an hour-long documentary at the level that they did, it is definitely worth a watch. And props to them, and I can't wait to see what they come out with next for 2019 or 20.
And for the newer guys out there, we're not even talking just video stuff, for the newer guys out there that want to get into divisionals and eventually become a professional paintball player, like, this is what it takes. You see the behind the scenes, like Mark said. It's a lot of work for a videographer or a media guy to go and edit all this and do that, but they did, and the newer players out there now get to see kind of like what it is to be a tournament team, all the arguments in the pits, and hey, wipe me down, we need paint, you know, etc., etc. So shout out to the Newbies. Thanks for putting more paintball out there into the world so people can see it. So,
and I'd love to see more stuff like that if anybody's doing it. Next up, there's a new super team in NXL.
There is a new super team. I'm pulling it up on my phone right now.
So wait, first off, does anybody care about NXL Europe other than the Europeans? I'm sure they care, but
a lot of the American professional players do play over there, and a lot of like the viewers out there, I'd assume, would be watching that because they do live stuff as well.
It's all on Go Sports. It's
yeah, you can definitely watch it. Yep.
All right, cool.
So it's the Golden State Kings, formerly, as I know, the ML Kings. Out of, obviously, they're a European-based team. They picked up a ton of dynasty guys. So I just pulled the roster. So you got Charles Givens. He was one of the original ML Kings guys, I believe. Don't quote me on that. Pretty sure. But then I see Ryan Greenspan, Marcelo Margot, Archie Montemayor, Kyle Spica, Blake Yarber. Ton of dynasty guys. What's up? Yeah, so Givens is one of the Givens is the only original MLK guy. So yes,
yeah, but it says Greenspan and Spica aren't playing in the Golden State Kings.
Both used to play with the ML Kings in Europe, but now
they're on the roster. So
but yes, they're going to be playing with the new Golden State because they play with ML Kings, but now they're Golden State Kings. New name. See what I'm saying? See what I did there? So, yeah, they're currently on the roster. Like I said, Greenspan, Margot, Archie Montemayor, Spica, Blake Yarber, obviously seasoned pros in the NXL here, professional players. Going to be a solid squad to reckon with over there, I would definitely say. That's what a lot of the American players do, is go to NXL Europe and join teams that are different names. Like a couple of the Dynasty guys used to play in like the Polar Bears, stuff like that. So
this is like the NBA when like they do the Olympic team, like the
correct.
Dream Team.
Yeah,
you have the Jordan and Pippen and Isaiah and like all the best U.S. guys would be on one team. But then there was also U.S. guys that would play on the
correct.
random European team.
Exactly. So that's what they're doing here. You know them formerly as Team X Factor or Team Dynasty or Team whoever, but then they go over to NXL Europe and they play on these different team names, and they can basically build a superstar team and just play NXL Europe. So that's
Are the prizes better in Europe? Do you know?
I'm sure they'd be the same because it's
pesos.
They don't win in pesos. I can tell you that. Could be euros. Could be euros. But check them out, guys. The Golden State Kings. If you guys watch any of the NXL Europe events, they're probably going to be pretty solid.
Do you know any good NXL Europe pro players that don't play in the States?
Personally, no, I don't.
No?
I do not. No.
Let us know if you. I know we've got a lot of international viewers, so.
Put in the comments below your favorite European player that plays professional.
In Europe, not in the States.
Yep, definitely.
All right, moving along. So that was it for the front page news of PB Nation this week.
So we dug deep.
We talked about the firmware. We didn't really talk about Blackhawk down in Texas, but we haven't made it to Texas yet. When we get there, we'll talk about it. We talked about Edmondson and Vegas. So we dug deep into the forums because there was good conversations like this one from Spunker. He wants to know, are long-term pro players hurting the sport? Are the Greenspans wrong? Are all the old fogies that are still locked into those key positions in the paintball teams, the names you've recognized for 10 plus years, like Markowski left, right?
Yeah, he's gone, but he's got kids and other things to do.
Yeah, for whatever reason he's gone now, but him leaving now gave an opportunity for a new, fresh, young player. Something that the people that you don't know the guy yet, but you will one day.
Good. Well,
is that better for the sport, or is keeping a Greenspan around that's a figurehead, a Michael Jordan of the industry, key to keeping the sport growing?
So obviously, this guy says that people like him, they're long overdue and they've put in their time. But who is to stop a new face from emerging and being, wow, that new player is Michael Jordan? Just because Ryan Greenspan's still around and he promotes the sport 100%, it's amazing. But if a new guy is so good that you just can't overlook him, why isn't his face everywhere? I mean, Greenspan's been around and won so many championships and so many events. I don't think Greenspan's hurting the sport at all, in my opinion. He's still around. He loves paintball. He makes his living at paintball. So if there was a new guy that was just so great that everyone had to know about, you would know about him. I mean, it doesn't matter who. Ryan Greenspan isn't stopping roster spots from becoming available. If you're that good, trust me, people will find out that you're that good.
Yeah, but in a marketing sense, companies like to focus on their golden child, right? Like,
yeah.
You can argue King James or Kobe in the NBA now.
For sure.
But if Jordan would have been still playing, would they have gotten the spotlight that they got, or would they have always stayed in that shadow? I don't know. You know, there's always an inkling of,
well, get out there and work harder then. I don't know what to tell you.
I get that, but people go back to their safe, right? Like, everybody knows who Greenspan is in the paintball world. And yeah, the next Johnny Smith could be moving up, and Johnny Smith could be the best paintball player, and he's quickest, and he's got the most best aim and everything that goes with, and he's charismatic, but he's always going to be like, he's not as good as Ryan. Why? Because Ryan's still playing, and we like our standard. You know, it's weird the way things get promoted, they get pushed. I wish it wasn't that way, but I think it has more to do with things than we'd like to lead into it. Shaq came into the NBA when Jordan was still playing, but it was always like, Jordan's the greatest, Shaq's okay. And then once Jordan was gone,
because Jordan would school Shaq.
Well, yeah, but
Shaq was just tall, bro. Jordan would whoop that boy. But no, I feel you.
There's some views on both sides.
I just don't think he's hurting the sport. I mean, let him. You know, he wants Greenspan to retire, is what I'm What are your thoughts? Should limited pro spots be occupied by years by the same faces? No, because you work your way to a pro spot because you are that good. If you want to play pro, trust me, there's 20 pro teams in the NXL. You will get picked up if you are that good, and you'll be on the webcast and someone will say, oh, Johnny Smith, God, that guy's a rock star. He's going to be the next big face. But yeah, in the marketing aspect, yeah, Ryan Greenspan's safe. He's been around forever.
Turbo, same thing. You know, should Tom Brady retire because he's keeping other quarter? It's not that
the
he's
best
keeping
players are going to play.
Yeah, and he's not keeping other people from becoming a quarterback, but he does prevent other players from getting the spotlight.
Because
he's
he's still
big
good.
As they could be.
He's an older guy.
Because he's an older
good.
guy. He's a name that we like. Same reason politicians get reelected. I recognize that name.
This guy says, yeah, Greenspan's poor example. The guy's consistently one of the best players in the world, but I understand your point. Like me and Mark said, back and forth, yes and no. Is he hurting the sport of paintball? No. He loves it. He's still out there promoting it. Guy does clinics all over the world. So,
if anything, I would say he prevents new players from getting the recognition they might deserve.
Yeah.
But if they stick with it and they put it through, Greenspan's what? He's got to be late 30s.
He's late. Yeah, I'm thinking so. Probably at least 35 or so. Yeah, so put in the comments below if you know how old Ryan Greenspan is. Got to be at least 35.
So he's at the far end anyway. You know.
Yeah. He'll be retiring soon.
I give you 5
Don't
more
worry.
years, Ryan.
That's it. Just like Tom Brady, he should win another Super Bowl ring and call it quits or something. I don't know.
Who knows?
All right,
moving along.
This is it. This is the closing topic, guys.
Sanchez wants to talk about the current state of paintball.
The current state of paintball. Call me Sanchez.
That's a loaded topic.
This is a hot topic. That's why we wanted to end this PbNation video with the current state of paintball. I want you guys to put in the comments below what you think.
So see you guys later. We're going to the Patreon after show. $1 a month. You can find out what we think. I wouldn't do that to you. That's extra. This is the bread and butter.
I'm going to give you a quick read, or can they see it on the screen?
They can see it on the screen, but if you want to
quick read. This guy's getting back into paintball after 6 or 7 years from away from the sport. He went to PbNation. He wanted to know what happened to paintball. Back in the day, everyone was producing gold ups to get their gun sales up to the top, to get their comments up to the top. So he doesn't see that anymore. Back then, everybody loved the golden rule, host before you post, and hardly anybody does now. So many pro teams have come and gone, and it's not surprising how the players jump from team to team. So he read about Damian Ryan bashing the NXL, and he just wants to know, and saw how few teams sign up for the events. Current state of paintball. If you are a field owner or producer, your focus is on keeping people happy. You're making your money on private parties, stuff like that. You're talking the overall current state of like tournament paintball. Players are going to jump from team to team, just like the NBA, the MLB, NFL. God, these guys are Cleveland Browns just got a super team, bunch of new receivers. Anywho, bashing the NXL and how many few teams signed up. Have you actually looked at the numbers? Teams, the NXL, like I think last year had like one of the greatest years they've ever had with team attendance. So the teams signing up aren't a factor in my opinion because there's still a ton of teams signing up. Players are always hopping. Pro teams are coming and going, like we just reverted back to. Now new faces are emerging. Just because a pro team folded because their sponsor couldn't support it or didn't want to donate any more money, a new team popped up. They still have 20 pro teams in the NXL. So current state of paintball.
Yeah, we're not in the heyday of paintball by any means right now. Right.
But I don't think it's a terrible state.
No, I don't. I think there's more people playing than ever. I think there's probably more opportunities to play, more fields,
for sure,
more options in terms of gear than there ever has. If you go back to tournament paintball, yeah, okay, we could all complain that the prizes aren't as sweet as we'd like them to be. There's not as many payoffs. There's not as many professional sponsors. How much of that is the sport's fault? How much of it is just our society in general going, guns are bad and these are kind of pretty much like guns and you're shooting each other, and all the snowflakes are afraid to allow it to be as promoted as it should be, to grow as big as it could be or as it once was.
Yeah, it's not 2003 to 2005, which in my opinion was a pretty big span, and paintball was solid and there was a lot of people playing.
You know,
there still are.
Our fields are growing.
Yes,
and we wouldn't be doing that if there wasn't an audience for it.
For sure.
We just came back from California, and Hollywood Sports Park is growing significantly.
Because you have to appeal to the kids.
Yeah.
You're getting, once again, we're trying to get paintball out there to the world. So if you start your kids at a younger age and get them to know, learn, love, grow the sport, That kid who played his first birthday party, his 10-year-old birthday party, might become a tournament player one day, and that's just how continuously growing the sport works.
Now, I want to talk about this because I'm not familiar with what's the term all gold ups. What's that?
Gold ups. PbNation offers, like, you would be at the top of the page. So if you went and you wanted to sell your gun, you could pay for gold ups, and you would be the first post. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So yeah, like Facebook is now sponsored post.
And then what's the golden host before you post? For those that don't know,
the golden rule: host before you post. Honestly, I don't know what he technically meant by that. I used to use PbNation a lot. I still go there for my news, but host before you post. I'm not quite sure.
Now, okay. Now the next thing that Damon Ryan bashing the NXL. We all have grievances about all different aspects of everything. Sure. We all have our opinions. They're like buttholes, right?
Yikes.
What I don't appreciate, and it's a mix, is if you should be free to leave whatever comment you want, right? You should be able to speak your mind without fear of retribution, because that's freedom of speech. The reality in life is there's going to be financial backlash because freedom of speech only applies to the government. If I tomorrow were to start going, hey, I think XYZ about Lone Wolf Paintball, and I'm saying things in a negative light about the Lone Wolf Paintball business, I should surely expect that Lone Wolf is no longer going to financially support me. That is their freedom.
That is correct.
So we mix this freedom of speech stuff with what is technically allowed and what a private industry is going to allow us to get away with.
Watch what you say on social media. You can always have your own thoughts in your head, but once you put something out in the public eye, you are going to be executed and judged and everything like that. So, kids, if you're watching this,
life lesson.
Yes, life lesson. Watch what you post on social media. You can always sync it. Doesn't mean you have to say it.
Doesn't mean you should say it.
Let's read a couple comments. I want to see. I didn't scroll through. I just want to see. Forums
Spunker had a big
Spunker, they're dying. Let's just real quick. Dying. These forums are dying because of social media platform use. Okay.
Yeah, Facebook groups are huge. It does hurt, I'm sure, PbNation's bottom line and some of the other pages. But that's the nature of the beast. PbNation also has a very strong social media presence, and these forums aren't dead. There's a lot of reasons to come here versus...
I really like this one. We're not going to go through all of them.
Yeah.
The number 2, the hobby is getting a resurge of returning players like yourself. I'm reverting back to Tim Montressor running the Iron City Classic. He's got frickin' 70 10-man teams. Most of them guys, mine and Mark's ages. Like this guy said, a resurgence coming back into the game, wanting the sport. And then now, he says, also bringing their kids. It's going to be a very important part of this industry. Like I said earlier, getting kids, getting them in there for their first birthday party, getting them hooked on the sport and growing from there.
The anti-gun lobby is like I was talking about.
Yes.
It's still shooting, and it's not foam darts, unfortunately.
That's a good one. New generations like rather play Fortnite and streaming and Twitch and that than...
And that's the parents' fault. Get your kids off their asses, off the electronic devices, do something with them. But we're getting into a generation where I was the tail end of it, but I had my own fair share of electronic devices, and I fall into the thing too. Like, hey, I could spend some time with my kid, but she's on her
device,
phone and device,
I'm
on my phone and device, and maybe we'll text to each other, or hey, dinner's ready, I'll send her a message. No, I need to take her ass to the field or do anything, any sport in general, but
that's what he was saying. Even outdoor action sports, skateboarding, everything are hurting because the kids want to sit behind a screen rather than go outside and play in the dirt and the mud like we used to do.
Yep.
So get your kids and put them involved in a sport. I don't care if it's whatever you guys want. Get them to play paintball, get them baseball, just get them outdoors and being active.
And they might be a little more in better shape too, weird.
Yeah.
And then this point too about the cost. Like, we know paintball's not a cheap sport, neither's hockey, neither's a lot of stuff that we do.
Yeah, you can buy expensive golf clubs as well, or whatever you guys are into.
Now, if you're doing tournament stuff, again, yeah, we'd sure love to have better prizes. So how do we convince the NXL and the other leagues that are forming to give better prizes?
I don't know. Send an email to Tom Cole. He'll definitely let you know his thoughts on that. Actually, check out PbNation did a video on their YouTube channel, an interview with Tom Cole, who is one of the owners of the NXL. So, guys, if you're wondering what's going on with tournament paintball is it Spunker who posted this?
Yeah.
check out PbNation's YouTube video on the interview John Dresser did with Tom Cole, and they go over a lot of the prizes, how much it costs to do an event. I mean, they don't get into specific numbers, but anyways, guys, watch that.
And then, like, for rec play stuff, obviously each field varies, and I feel sorry for the places that are spending $100+ for a case of paint at their field. Bring that up to the owners. You gotta go somewhere else then, unfortunately. Lone Wolf, I've been doing stuff for these guys forever. I can think of maybe 2 times that like paint prices and things have gone up in 20 years.
We stay pretty consistent. We offer our members a great price. So
and that sucks because guess what? The suppliers are selling stuff at greater rates than ever too. So it's the trade-off. We want to keep everybody happy, and sometimes it sucks.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much that's it. Current state, I'm going to close off with this. Current state of paintball, I think it's still doing well. Tournament stuff, obviously people they want to cry about the NXLs and giving out prize packages and all that. But
and it's not on ESPN.
Yeah, it's not on ESPN. I mean, paintball is still alive and doing well. Is it the greatest it's ever been? No, but it's by no means like
it's not
a step away from being dead.
It's not airsoft.
No. Whew. So get your kids, keep bringing the kids out to the field, get them hooked on this great sport that we have, obviously, and let's continue to grow the thing and keep it going.
That's it.
That's it,
We're
guys.
done. Go to lonewolfpaintball.com, check out the online store, all the best merch and swag in the game, and then head over to the Jerky Den, get your fine protein. I can't believe we didn't have any for this episode, but we'll eat some next time while we were talking because people like seeing us chew while we talk. And then Patreon after show starts as soon as I reset the camera.
Check out PbNation.com. Don't forget it, guys. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
What up, Marky Mark with the after show business.